What up, everybody, and welcome once again to the Endzone, brought to you by Gym Bag Entertainment. And this is your football show by guys that love football. As always, it's your host, Craig, here with my boy.
Your boy, Ace.
And we have a nice little show for you. We're going to talk about some things. First topic of discussion, a guy we haven't spoke of genuinely for about a year now, and that's Dez Bryant. Dez Bryant got released from the Cowboys 2 years ago. Didn't really find a home in the offseason. Somewhere in the beginning, somewhere right before the season began, got a chance with the Saints, looking like it was going to be, incredible, like magic was going to happen with Michael Thomas and Dez Bryant on the same team. And then in practice, he tore his Achilles and out for the season, not knowing what's going to happen. Last year comes, nobody picks him up. Don't know if he wasn't ready, if he wasn't healthy, or if he wasn't willing to sign a deal that people wanted to give him. But nonetheless, he didn't play last year or the year before that. But if you've been following him on YouTube or on Instagram like I do, you've seen that he's been working hard to get back into the NFL. He wants to play, I'm assuming, at least one more season or something. I think he's got the bug. He feels like he can do it. What do you think?
I think he can definitely do it. It's not saying that he can't do it. Dez Bryant is a legitimate receiver.
Yeah.
Because he's been in the league for 7 years before being out for 2.
Yep.
So that gives him 7 years. 2 years off after Achilles injury, he could bounce back from that. He had 531 receptions for 7,459 yards and 73 touchdowns. Like, that's good stats for that many years that he played in the league. So, therefore, I feel like he can go on a team and make that offense better. So,
I agree.
Given the shot if he gets it.
And the thing with Dez, man, I think one of Dez's greatest qualities is his ability to go up and get contested passes.
Yeah, he goes up and gets it.
When that ball's contested, his strength, his size, and his abilities allow him to win those contested battles. And that's not necessarily having so much to do with speed. Yeah. So I think that even if he's lost some speed, even if he's lost the ability to get real good separation.
But the thing is, in the right offense, you gotta know how to use them.
Yeah.
And if you use them the right way, speed wouldn't be too much of an issue.
And that's my thing. I think if you make him your number 3, not your number 1, not your number 2, you make him your number 3. 1, he's gonna impart wisdom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The dude has gems. So receivers can learn a lot from a guy like Dez. I think he can bring some heart into the locker room. And I think that
some grit.
Yeah, some
he's
grit.
A gritty guy.
He's definitely not the guy. Like, he fights for the touchdown. You know what I'm saying? He fights for the yards, and I think that with this comeback, he has something to prove. So I think if he does get another opportunity, he's gonna come in hungry like it's his freshman year.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
I would love to see what happens with that. And so I'm rooting for him, and I hope a team signs him. This might be the one time I'd say I don't know if I'd want him to be a Patriot, but I don't think I'd be mad about it. But I don't think he would add what we need. So I'm not saying that. All right. In another bit of news that to me was a huge surprise, the GM and the owner and the coach of the Carolina Panthers want to stick with Cam Newton. They think that they like the way he's rehabbed from his injury, the elbow surgery, and think that he's their starter, and the coach he said he absolutely wants to work with Cam. So what do you think?
I love it.
I
love every bit of it because, Cam changed the way how some quarterbacks play the game. He
100%.
Definitely was a big impact.
He's the pioneer.
Yeah, in the NFL, when he came into the NFL, he definitely made an impact. And correct me if I'm wrong, without injury in this past season.
And the year before. Yeah.
So without injury those 2 years, he's off to a good start in his career. Amazing start to his career.
Without injury, I think you talk about Cam Newton in the top 5, minimum top 10.
Exactly. So
100%.
So for them to give him a chance, especially when he spent his whole career there since a rookie, that speaks big volumes. And I think that like they build around him, and because at first, I'm not gonna lie, I thought they was getting rid of Cam.
Me too.
So for them to keep him, but they kept him for all the reasons why we said they should keep him. Also, like he's been there. You already got rid of other older guys, so you got to kind of see what you're gonna do with Cam, and now you make him feel comfortable. And now that Cam knows that you didn't shy away from him when the media thought you was, I think he's gonna go out there and perform. They're gonna make it to the playoffs this next year.
You know what?
As long as he stays healthy.
I think 100% healthy Cam damn near guarantees a playoff berth. And I think no matter what, the Panthers keep him, or, maybe they're saying, because they always say, teams always say they're doing one thing, when then they turn around and do another. Maybe someone offers them a trade.
But think about it like this, though. Not to cut you off, but think about it like this. This is like a make or break year for Cam this year, because say if he doesn't play well and doesn't do good, well, he devalued himself. He's not worth much. Boom. Now, if he goes out there and balls and take that team to the playoffs, now he got two options. They can get rid of Cam and trade him for something real good, and he goes somewhere nice. Or another team will come get Cam and pay him what he needs to be paid.
Exactly.
And those are basically the two options for Cam this year, going on with this season, knowing that they're going to go with you. You can't have a bad year, because if you have a bad year, they're pulling the plug on you. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you have a great year to a decent year, then that makes other teams want to take a chance on you also.
Exactly.
So I think that's the best situation for Cam right now.
Yeah, because like I was going to say, teams could come in and offer something that the Panthers can't refuse, or, throughout the training camp, they could see something they don't like and they could trade him away or release him, whatever may happen. But the thing I've always loved about Cam forever is that when Cam's out on the field, he's like a kid on the side street, playing street ball, loving every moment of it. He's just a true he's a true athlete when it comes to that. Like, he plays for the love of the game. Yeah, he wants to get to the ship, but he just loves playing the game. So if he can come back 100%, to me, I agree and I also disagree at the same time. Like, Panthers is the best place for him because that's where he grew up. You know what I'm saying? That's where everything developed for him. And he does have weapons there, and they can add to those weapons in the offseason to make it even easier for him. But the problem I have is like, I think that, they do have a new coach, so it isn't the same. It isn't going to be the same that it was for him. And I think
that could be better.
True, it could be better. Maybe Rule has like a perfect plan for Cam to keep him healthy and to get,
like I said,
get the ball moving.
Like you gotta, like, people forget who Cam was before these injuries. So obviously over the last 2 years we saw him get injured, so we saw his value go down. But at the end of the day, like you're saying, new coach, new system, could protect him, could keep him healthy. Now you're going to see the old Cam. And again, like we're saying, the best question for you right now is, if you're the GM of Carolina and you just made the decision to keep him right now, you're going to pull a plug on him early in the year, midway through the year, or at the end of the year. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, if you're a GM of all the other teams in the NFL, you're watching to see what will Cam do, because you he's skating on thin ice over there.
Yeah.
So what kind of production he's going to put up in every game to see if I want to take a chance with him.
Yeah.
So he's one of the players that's under the smallest of the smallest microscopes this year to do what he got to do.
Yeah. The other reason why I don't like it is because whether or not you had any intention on Kyle Allen or Will Grier becoming the starter, giving Cam Newton that job back is kind of like, the best example I can give is kind of like on the Celtics. You know what I'm saying? Kyrie came in and things was going okay. But then Kyrie got hurt, and Gordon Hayward got hurt. Gordon Hayward got hurt, and Kyrie got hurt. And then these young boys had to come in, and they did it on their own. They made the playoffs. They made a dope push.
Okay.
Then the following year, these two dudes are healthy, and they put them right back in the starting rotation right away. And what did it do? It dropped the morale of the team. It dropped the production of that team. And now they get rid of one of those pieces, and they bring on a guy a little bit more humble, a little bit more of a team leader, and now people are talking about the Celtics like they about to go to the ship.
Time out. That's completely different scenario due to the simple fact is Cam's been in Carolina his whole
career, yeah.
Of his
but
career.
Now they've built a team that doesn't revolve around him anymore.
How you figure? It still revolves around him. You have McCaffrey and Cam. That's your team. They just showed you that this is their team. Those other guys, they don't care about those two backup quarterbacks. That's what they are, backup quarterbacks. They can go out and get a quarterback in this draft this year, and Cam could help that quarterback out this year and get rid of Cam next year.
I mean,
quarterback is a lot of options.
Allen. I still like Kyle Allen.
But you can like Kyle Allen, but at the end of the day, there's no trust in Kyle Allen. As you see, because if there was trust in him, he would be out there.
I also think because of the injury to Cam, he got thrown into the Lions' den sooner than he should have.
Sooner, he's a backup quarterback. You can get thrown in.
You can.
At any given moment, you got to be ready.
Yeah, this is
stay ready so you don't have to get ready. You get what I'm saying? Like,
what would we have seen from Patrick Mahomes had he started year one? You know what I'm saying? Would we have the same Patrick Mahomes?
You don't know.
Exactly.
You don't know.
So
but I see it as if I'm a backup and the starter goes down,
I'm up.
I'm performing.
Yeah.
I'm up. This is the chance I need.
Yeah.
The lights is on me, especially at the quarterback position. The lights is on me. I got to perform. Kyle Allen, you think he performed the way he was supposed to earn
He started to perform the way he was supposed to.
I'm not asking you started. I'm talking about completed.
No.
Not start.
No.
I'm talking start to finish.
No.
Do you think he played well enough to be like, all right, Cam, you're done?
No.
That's all I'm saying to you.
I do believe he did well enough to say, okay,
I see something in this backup.
I see something in Kyle Allen enough to where I can say, all right, Cam, we need to find our new identity, and we can't do that with you here. So even if it takes a year, we're going to go with Kyle Allen and Will Grier. We're gonna build a team around them, and the centerpiece will be Christian McCaffrey.
Do you
McCaffrey is the face of that team now.
Do you not miss what's going on here? Christian McCaffrey's not the face. Christian McCaffrey, Cam Newton is the face of Carolina. Cam Newton brought Carolina back to being what Carolina is. Yes, you got McCaffrey who performs, but you think of Carolina, you think of Cam Newton. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. On all levels, I think it depends. You can argue about it all you want, but Cam is Cam. Cam is the man on that team. That's his position.
He was the squad. Man, but will he continue to be so?
We'll see.
To be honest with you,
we'll see.
The ideal situation for me is Cam comes back 100% and him and Christian McCaffrey run all over the league.
And that can happen.
That would be a wonderful thing because the Cam Newton is not just a guy who can run with the ball. He can throw the ball very well. And he got an arm. So
think about it like this. He threw the ball 3,980 times, completed 2,371 of those passes, 29,000 yards, 182 TDs, sacked 291 times. He ran rushing 934 attempts, 4,800 yards. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I love Cam, man.
The best stat I like when it was 367 times him rushing the ball, he got a first down.
Wow. That's big. That's big.
Come on, this is Superman who was flying and giving balls to kids. Don't get him mistaken.
I love
and getting
Cam.
Fined and all that. Like, Cam is Cam. Cam's. Let me tell you why Cam is Carolina. Because, like you're saying, like you always say, this is what you say. He makes that team exciting. He makes that team fun to watch.
True.
So he takes pressure off of McCaffrey. As good as McCaffrey is, Cam takes a lot of pressure. Cam takes a lot of heat for a lot of things. So it's like, and he always handled it well. Like, Cam wasn't.
And Cam's the best thing that could ever happen to that offensive line.
Yeah.
I agree with you. If he's 100%, then this is great.
That's all I feel. I'm not saying I want a 70% Cam, 80%. No, I need 100% Cam.
100%.
Like,
well, we'll see what happens in the future. My hope is that Cam is 100%, and we got like 5 more years of the guy.
Me too.
But we'll see what happens. All right, quick little rundown. A couple little news tidbits. The Jets have zero interest in trading Le'Veon Bell. I had high hopes of him being traded to Houston, but they say they don't want to trade him. That they need to develop their offensive line to give him more ability to run the ball. I do like the sounds of that for the benefits of Le'Veon Bell, but I did want him to not be a Jet anymore. The New York Giants are open for business on their number 4 overall pick. So if the price is right, they'll trade it away.
I like that.
I like that a lot. If I'm a team that needs a quarterback you're not going to get Chase Young because he's going number 2. I don't know. You got to trade for it.
Who knows? He may be at 3 spot the way things is looking, but I don't know.
I don't know either. So the coach and GM of the Pittsburgh Steelers say they got a better Ben back post-surgery. They said his rehab's done well, and he's looking better than he's ever looked. I said to you a little bit earlier before the show started that before Ben got hurt, he was still playing high level. He was top of his game. So there should be, when someone's gone a season, it's like, what have you done for me lately? You always kind of forget about them. Reminiscent of a time, I remember when Brady went out for the season and Matt Castle had that awesome 11-5 season, first team to go 11-5 and not make the playoffs, and being like, damn, Brady's coming back next year. And, but then Brady comes back and
what
you
happened
remember.
to Matt Castle, then what happened to Brady? Okay,
Exactly.
Backups is backups
Backups
for a
is
reason.
backups for a reason. And I wasn't thinking that the Steelers would go with their backup. I was thinking they would bring on a free agent. We talked about Phillip Rivers or Jameis Winston. But anyway, Big Ben, they're saying he's back and that he's better than ever. So we'll see what happens there because they're in need of that. Tony Grossi, the host of one of the Cleveland sports talk shows, gets suspended because on his hot mic, meaning when they went off air, but his mic wasn't off, called Baker Mayfield an effing midget. And I thought to myself, homeboy got suspended for calling him a midget? Like, what? I've heard radio hosts call people way worse things.
He must have already been in trouble at work or something.
I don't know, man. Like, how much are you loving Baker Mayfield as a town that you're going to suspend a man for calling the QB an effing midget?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a little overdone there, but
Agreed.
I'm not the owner of the radio station. Maybe he's close friends with him. And then, 2 weeks ago, we were talking about, where players should land, and I came up with this scenario, which you also liked, where Miami would trade their draft pick to the Cowboys for Dak, and the Cowboys.
I didn't like that scenario.
Yeah, you did.
I thought it was interesting, but
What, you gonna lie now? We gotta go back to the tape.
yeah, because I don't like Dak in Miami.
Whatever. You was liking it when I
like
said
him in
it.
the Chargers or something like that.
Well, whatever. But the whole point of what I'm telling you is you did like it.
Okay.
And you said it. We're gonna bring the tape back up. But Cowboys would be able to draft Tua. The other day, I'm reading a little post. Tua grew up a Cowboys fan. Excuse me, that was earlier today, not the other day. It was earlier today. Tua grew up a Cowboys fan. So how magical would it be that I said the Cowboys should draft Tua, trade up to get him, and then they do that, and he goes there, and he was a Cowboys fan from jump. Craig is a
And then he gets hurt, and then bye-bye.
True. That could, it's a tough one right there. Once again, I'm a firm believer that QBs should sit out a year and learn the system. If you drafted Tua, you go ahead and you sign Jameis Winston and let him run your team for a year, and then you bring on Tua the following year that he's learned the system. All right. So we want to talk to you guys about some free agents. We want to talk about the combine. But before we jump into that, we need to discuss a few teams that's got some big salary cap space that can possibly make some splashes in the offseason.
Splashes. So what I did was I did the top 5 teams that got money to make a couple splashes. Threw a couple names out there.
Okay.
But the biggest splash, because it's like people sleep on how underrated free agency is.
Oh yeah.
But then they don't realize like someone like Nick Foles made $88 million last year on free agency. You get what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah, he did.
That's where money's made for players is in free agency, and some fans, because fans get mad. Fans get mad when players are free agents and they don't want to take this deal or take that deal. I'm always a firm believer of see what else is out there, because if the grass is not always green on the other side, but you can always see what the opportunity is.
But on top of that, even if hypothetically speaking, even any player in the league can say, I'm going to test the market, not because they want to go to another team, just because they want to see what they're worth.
Yeah.
And even though you may have your own mindset of what you're worth, teams are going to tell you what you're worth to them.
That's like kind of like a Tom Brady situation right now. And
I was going to say that, but I felt like if I said Tom Brady, he was going to be like, really?
But no, because people don't understand that. People think he's being greedy because they're used to him taking pay cuts and this and that and the third, but now it's time to see what I'm really worth. So, yeah, I could flirt with ideas of going to other teams to see what my worth is, because next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to counter offer you. And if you want me, you're going to take my counter offer.
You're going to match it.
If not, then I'm gone, because I already know this team over here is giving me double or triple of what you're saying, But to get into the top 5 teams, the number 1 team is the Miami Dolphins. They're leading the NFL in cap space with $93.7 million free space in cap.
Wow.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of players.
That's a lot of players. That could be a big splash of 2 to 3 players. That could be another 8 to 10 players.
I think it could be. I think you can make a big splash, and you can grab 10 players with that cap space, and I'm talking about 10 good players.
Yeah, and not to mention they got good draft picks too. So well, keep an eye. You got to keep an eye out on Miami. Number 2 was Buffalo Bills. They got $83.1 million. So my thought for them with that $83.1 million, maybe an AJ Green, maybe an Emmanuel Sanders, maybe an Amari Cooper. You already got a good quarterback over there that can sling that thing.
Need offense.
Why not Slick bring in a
good
Dez Bryant? Yeah. Why not bring in a receiver type of guy that's gonna make you more efficient?
Because what they really need is they need that big body wide receiver, because they got the speedster, they got their short route guy. They need that deep route,
and then they got a defense that only gave up 16.2 points a game last year. So
their defense is tough, and a lot of that money is gonna go to Zadarius Smith or whatever his name is.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid, but you got a lot of money to do other things too, along with getting him. Like that's not a problem.
Zadarius Wright.
Yeah, right.
Zadarius Wright.
The number 3 team is Cincinnati Bengals, $47.6 million in cap space. Once they get rid of Andy Dalton, that's his $17.7 million. Once that's gone off of it, that's gonna free up some more cap space for them.
Buy everything.
Yeah,
everything. Just buy it.
The OT, they got an OT, Cody Glennon. He's making $9.5 million. They're giving him up. You got a team that gave up 48 sacks, allowed 26 points a game. So I think at this point you go get a little nice rookie quarterback along with a veteran,
which won't cost you the house.
Yeah, and you get one of these veteran guys. You bring him in over there. I think you build on defense this year. Let your quarterback groom this year. Don't worry too much on offense. You can always plug in offensive guys, but I think Cincinnati should use this money and focus more so on the defensive side of the thing.
I agree. They need defense more than anything. Their offense is straight. Yeah, they don't got the best. They don't got a top 10 offensive line, but they got a good offense.
Yeah, good enough. Yeah.
Good enough. And yeah, you maybe you can grab 1 or 2 pieces in free agency, but like defensively, you need everything. You need everything.
Next up is Craig's favorite team. The Bucks. They got the Bucks. Tampa Bay.
Oh, yeah, the Bucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
They got
I was thinking BUCKS. I'm like, what? Yeah, the Bucks.
Yeah. They got $85 million cap space.
Really?
Yeah. They have 7 wins this season, the most wins since 2016. The question, though, before I talk anything about them is what will happen with Winston. He averaged 28 points a game as a quarterback. That's a guy that I would keep, but that defense gives up a lot of points.
30 touchdowns. Granted, 33 interceptions, but still 30 touchdowns.
And then if you do give up say, hypothetically speaking, you give up Jameis Winston, do you bring in like a Phillip Rivers or an old school guy like that to come in and run the offense?
To be honest with you, I like the idea of Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing names out there, just like a older guy that will come in, you know. But we already know whoever's that quarterback over there, the leash is short in Tampa. They don't play that.
Yeah,
they sub you, they rotate you. That leash is real short at quarterback over there. So who knows?
Yeah, they got no patience for incompetence.
Nope. And then last up is AC's favorite team, Arizona. They got 51.5 million cap space. You know, I think they're going to get rid of David Johnson, give up that 16.2 million, create more cap space, go out there and get you a couple O-linemen to help out Kyler Murray getting sacked damn near 100 times this year.
And they have already said they're going after one of these rookie wide receivers.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of them that we're going to be talking about coming up, so I don't want to really get into that. But those are the top 5 teams. You got Miami, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Tampa Bay, and Arizona that has the money right now.
Yeah. I think with an exception for Cincinnati, and that's just because of their history, I think any one of those teams with the right moves can make the playoffs next year.
Absolutely.
Well, this year.
Get better.
This year. All right, so let's talk about free agency. Let's get into that. We got our top 10. I start off, my number 1 free agent this year is Hunter Henry. He's not the number 1. He is my number 1. Because the Patriots need a tight end like, you know, we need air to breathe. Without a high-quality tight end, the Patriots system just doesn't work. We can't get it done. And Hunter Henry, to me, he's my favorite tight end out. That's a free agent right now, and I think he might be one of the best. You know, if it's not the Patriots, I think teams like the Bills, Tennessee could look at a guy like Hunter Henry. But I'm really hoping that he makes his way to New England.
Okay. Mine's is James Bradbury, the cornerback from Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
He gave up 1 touchdown scored, like, you know, defense scored on one touchdown scored on. He had 3 picks on the season, and just think about it. A guy like him, he covered Julio twice a year, Michael Thomas twice a year, Mike Evans twice a year.
And he only gave up 1 touchdown.
He gave up 1 touchdown. Yeah, so playing with those names and stuff like that and doing that, I like him. And hopefully he finds a home. Hopefully, well, Carolina, since they keep in Cam, they might throw him some bread and keep him. But these top 5 teams could use a player like him for their defense.
Absolutely. That's a good piece.
Or even like a Miami, because they gave up Micah Fitzpatrick last year. Minka Fitzpatrick. So going out there and get a James Bradbury ain't bad.
That's not bad at all.
You know?
My number 2 guy, I'm going to stick with the tight end position, is Austin Hooper. I don't know why Atlanta would do this, but they told him to go out and test the free agent market. Now, I do genuinely understand they want him to test the market to see what his value is and see if they have the money to pay him. But if they either don't have the money to pay him, or if they decide that they're not going to pay him, there's 3 teams I think that would be perfect fits for Austin Hooper, and that's Green Bay, Arizona, Cincinnati. All 3 teams need an elite tight end, and Austin Hooper was top 3 in the league last year. I think he was the highest touchdown scoring tight end in the league.
I like that. My next up is DJ Reader from Houston, nose tackle. He does it all. He reminds me of what's big boy he played on the Patriots too, Will Fork.
Oh,
Vince Wilfork.
Right? Oh, okay, yeah,
Vince Wilfork. That's what he reminds me of. Big boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He clogs that middle up. You know, so I think he can go somewhere, be successful too, somewhere on the defensive end. Maybe like
I mean, when you're a nose tackle and you're that big and that good,
you can go like anywhere.
Everybody wants you.
So I can't even throw a team. Everybody, go get him.
I think a team that could return to that defensively could turn to greatness with a guy like that, because they're missing that piece, is the Rams since losing Ndamukong Suh.
Yeah,
you know, I think that would really help out Aaron Donald. Next up is one of my favorite receivers. I think I talk about him more than any other wide receiver, is Amari Cooper. You know, I had big expectations for him this year. I think he kind of, for the most part, he kind of met those expectations. I think he could do a little bit better. And if the Cowboys can't sign him, because it's looking like the Cowboys is being real tight with that money since signing Zeke. They still got to sign Byron Jones. They still got to sign Dak. Is there going to be room for Amari Cooper? I'm thinking maybe not. Teams that I think need him right away. Team number one for me is the New York Jets. They do not have a legit number one wide receiver. And I think if you gave a guy like Sam Darnold, a guy like Amari Cooper to throw the ball to, that would, with Le'Veon Bell at the run game, I think that would do well. Buffalo, Arizona, Kyler Murray and Amari Cooper. I love that.
I was going to tell you.
I love that.
The first one you said is kind of tough because, like, he goes over there, he's by himself. You get what I'm saying?
Not necessarily. You have Jamison Crowder, who was nice last year. You got Le'Veon Bell. You have Griffin at tight end. If Herndon finally comes back healthy, he was nasty 2 years ago.
Arizona.
Yeah, I like Arizona. I think Arizona would be a perfect match for him. And then finally, the last team, the team I would most love for him to go to is New England, because we need that big route running wide receiver. I just don't think we're going to pay him the money that he wants.
Next up is for me is Trey Boston, a good safety, big boy, can move him around a little bit. I think someone like a Cincinnati could use a Trey Boston.
Oh, I mean, every single defensive piece is a piece that they can utilize, and I definitely like that move right there. Next for me is Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston, I feel like the way things have gone for him at Tampa, I don't believe that they're going to keep him. Me personally, I think it's a stupid mistake. Jameis Winston is the face of Tampa, almost as much so as Cam. Even though he as poorly as he's done, he's still that guy. He brings attention to the team. He's excited and he's fun to watch, and he makes plays. He just needs to be tuned up. But if they decide not to keep him, he's most likely going to go somewhere where he'd be a backup. And I think the team that he would transition as the backup had the number one go down, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
That offensive line for Jameis Winston would give him time to make better decisions. And if Ben Roethlisberger were to go down, which it is likely, I think he gets injured every season, if not for just 2 or 3 games. Yeah, Jameis Winston, the size of him coming in for Ben, I think would work out perfect.
Not bad. Next up, I got Craig's guy. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but this is how I feel about him.
Okay.
You sign him for a 1-year deal.
Yep.
You make him prove himself.
Yep.
And then you see if you like him or not.
Yep.
Eric Ebron.
Yeah.
You know, because he has potential to be good or great.
Yep.
But I don't know what goes on, so I would sign him for a 1-year deal this year. For the teams that need a tight end, 1-year deal this year, sign him, and then follow up next year with a contract if he's worthy of it.
I agree with you. To me personally, I think Eric Ebron is going, from this point on, is going to be a career 1-year contract. He has never improved his ball handling skills. The dude drops more passes than any tight end in the NFL. When he makes plays, he makes big plays. Yeah. When he catches the ball, he's very difficult to tackle. And in the red zone, one of the most dangerous tight ends in the NFL. But his hands got butter on him. So that's a problem for me. Like, I feel like it's one of those, you got to go back to one of those old school situations where, like, he's got to carry the ball around everywhere he goes, and he can never put it down to do anything.
Yeah.
I feel like he can't leave the field unless he catches 50 passes in a row. You know what I'm saying? Like one of those type of situations. Next up for me is Teddy Bridgewater. I love Teddy Bridgewater. I think that he has the makings of a starter. He's already done it once in his career. He came in 5-0 for the Saints, and I think teams are going to be salivating to sign this guy. 3 teams, I already said the Chargers is my number one team to pick him up, even though they've talked about Tyrod Taylor as the starter. I really like the fit for Teddy Bridgewater there. I think it's be a seamless transition. I also like Tampa Bay. I think once again that offense with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, the resurgence of Ronald Jones at the running back position. I think there's a lot that could happen there for Teddy Bridgewater. And then finally, the Indianapolis Colts. If they stupidly move on from Jacoby Brissett, not giving him a second year, I think that'd be a nice team for him to go to as well.
I got next up Gleason. Yeah, Graham Gleason. Detroit O-lineman.
Mm-hmm.
He's free agent. Someone signed him. Big boy. I love linemen.
So teams like Cincinnati and Arizona all day. Arizona, I feel like that. Like if Arizona got a strong offensive line, I don't think that they actually genuinely need anything.
And they got
else.
My next player I can say because there's two O-linemen is Darrell Williams from Carolina.
Darrell Williams,
yeah, Darrell Williams from Carolina. You got him and Graham, two big boys. You got a little bit of money. I'm bringing both of them.
Bring both of them. If I'm Arizona, I'm breaking the bank on my O-line. You got a quarterback who can make things happen if he has the time. I'm giving him. If you give him time, he's bringing y'all to the playoffs. So let's do that. Next up for me, I went. The last four players on my list ended up being defensive. Chris Harris Jr.
Okay.
Chris Harris Jr. His most notable quality is the fact that he allows the least touchdowns. I think there was like 2 seasons in a row where no one scored a touchdown on him.
If he wasn't in hell, he'd be good.
Oh yeah.
Like Detroit's hell. So anybody who go there, you don't hear about them or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could be the best player in the world and go to Detroit.
Denver.
Denver. Oh yeah, Harris.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about
Are you thinking about
from Detroit?
Slay?
Slay.
Slay.
Yeah, I'm thinking about Slay. My fault. Harris.
I don't think he's a free agent. I think he's on. I think they're thinking about trading him.
Yeah, okay.
But Chris Harris is just an incredible corner. There's only 2 teams in my mind that could absolutely go. He could go to and make the splash he needs to make. And then in my mind, I just added a third. The first 2 teams I thought of is Seattle. I talked about that on the show a few weeks ago. I think that he brings to Seattle that quality of defense that they're used to. His work ethic. It is what they love there. Baltimore has resurged their defense. Chris Harris being added to that lot could help them out. And then it just came to me that they could go with he could go to the Rams. The Rams gave up Hakeem Talib. Then they gave up what's his name, Marcus Peters. But they pick up Jalen Ramsey. Could you imagine Jalen Ramsey and Chris Harris Jr. on opposite ends? How hard is it going to be to throw the ball? Damn near impossible.
Facts.
So I love that. And since you dropped 2, no, go ahead because you have an extra.
And then so now I went with my free agents
that are the most risky
picks. You know what I'm saying? Like, my number 1 risky pick is Melvin Gordon. He only had 1 year of rushing for 1,000 yards. So that was kind of, and I think like
his first season didn't he score a touchdown?
Yeah, I don't think you want to like overpay him.
Yep.
So after what he did this year, I would give him a 1-year deal, prove yourself again. And
you think so? You wouldn't do? Me personally, I would sign him to a 3-year deal because here's the thing, he's not a yards beast, but here's the reason why he's not a yards beast is because he's in a committee. Yeah. Austin Eckler takes up so much. You put him on a team, you bring him onto a team like Kansas City, and he's gonna get his touches.
Not over there.
I think so. No, because they'd get rid of Shady. Damian Williams would drop to backup. He'd catch passes out of the backfield, and
that's what they got Hill for,
huh?
That's what they got Hill for.
For what? Tyreek Hill's wide receiver.
He does it all.
Yeah, I feel you, but I think Melvin Gordon with a 3-year deal over in Kansas City.
Miami.
Oh, Miami's nice.
Go over there and prove yourself.
Miami's nice. If I was Miami, I'd sign him to a 5-year deal. Sure. I'd sign him to 5 years and make him the cornerstone of my offense. Next on the list for me is Chris Jones, defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs. Chris Jones is the reason why Kansas City beat Tennessee. because he stopped Derrick Henry cold. He said, boy, you can't come in here. You can't come this way.
Not today.
And not today. It's not going to happen. And they're like juggling with the idea of whether or not to re-sign him. To me, the stupidest thing I've ever heard of in my life. Get that boy his money. But if you're not, teams that I think could use him right away, Washington Redskins, they've got a good defense. Adding Chris Jones just makes them that much more dangerous. The Giants really don't have a great defensive line. I hate saying their name, but that's a team that could use them. And a team that's never had a scary defensive line in the entire time I've been loving them is the New England Patriots. Chris Jones as a nose tackle in there could be a serious problem for anybody.
Next up, I got Ryan Tannehill. Overrated. Had a good year this year, but when the time came, couldn't do it, couldn't perform when the lights was on. Really didn't have to throw the ball because he had a strong run game.
Yeah.
Would I take a chance on him? No. He's just a backup.
See, I agree and I disagree. Where I would take the chance on Ryan Tannehill came in, you can't deny what he did. You know, he came into Tennessee, he got them to the playoffs, he hit the ground running seamlessly, and he made some big boy plays. You know what I'm saying? He made a lot of – in the playoffs, they used Derrick Henry. But they know if they're smart, Tennessee cannot abuse Derrick Henry the way they did in the playoffs. They can't have him running for 200 yards. They've got to –
Tannehill's just not it.
No, and I agree with you. But here's where I disagree with you. I franchise tag him. Keep him for that 1 year. And if he does what he did again and he brings you back to the promised land, now it's time to offer him 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? You give him the 2-3 year deal, 20 mil a year, something like that, and you bring him back and you bring him on. But I'd franchise tag him and I'd give Derrick Henry the deal, give Tannehill the franchise tag. Like, boy, yeah, you came in 1 year, but look what you did all the years before that. You ain't getting you're not getting the bag.
You know who
anybody.
I like over there?
Who?
Winston.
Jameis Winston in Tennessee.
Him or Bridgewater.
Bridgewater I like. But I think
because those guys is like running. You got a running back, beast mode running back,
yep.
And then you got a running quarterback who can also sling. That offense would be just
it would be dangerous. Teddy Bridgewater would make that so dangerous.
It's just kind of like it would be kind of like a Baltimore offense where it's a high nosed football team and you don't know what's coming at you
exactly,
and you could do a lot of things.
But I think Ryan Tannehill did enough this year to at least warrant him 1 more year as a starter. I think he's done enough.
I just don't like him.
Okay, I didn't. I don't care about Tannehill. I was trashing on him all season until he got the ball in his hand. He started doing something with it. Next for me is Jadeveon Clowney, big name on the list. A lot of teams I think could utilize him right away. First and foremost, Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah.
Cincinnati Bengals.
Clowney would be good over there.
He would go there and he would define their defense.
Yeah.
And then you build around him.
Because you need like a dog like that over there. Yeah.
Shoot, if I was Cincinnati, I'd go after Jadeveon Clowney and Chris Jones and the guy I have last on the list. I'd go after him too, and we'll get there. But I also think teams like Oakland hasn't had an edge rusher since Marlon Mack. Miami is building a whole new team. They wanted him.
Khalil.
Huh?
Wasn't it? Not Marlon.
Yeah, Khalil. My bad. Khalil Mack. My bad. Marlon Mack's the running back from Indianapolis. Yeah. Miami wanted him. He didn't want to get traded there. He got traded to Seattle instead. And then Tennessee. Tennessee could really build up that defense. It was already looking pretty good. It can get better.
I like that.
Yeah.
Another risky pick I got for you is Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
He's just a complimentary pass catcher. You know, like he
can't be a number one.
Yeah, he's not a number one. He doesn't get yak, meaning yards after the catch. Doesn't get 1,000 yards
unless
for
he's
you.
burned his.
Yeah, unless he just smoke show you. Yeah. And then it's like he's making 14 mil. I don't think he's worth $14 million. I think
he makes 14 million.
Yeah, I think he needs to decrease that pay, scale it back, and earn that money.
Yeah, I like him, but he's definitely your number 2 guy. You know, he's that guy who gets open because the number 1 guy is double teamed. Finally on my list is Arik Armstead, linebacker for the San Francisco 49ers. They're not going to be able to sign this dude. They have way too many.
Yeah.
They have way too many people to sign. So he's going to have to move on. And once again, Cincinnati Bengals should be going after this dude hard. But two other teams would be Oakland or the Giants. Okay. All teams that need to build on their defense. But Cincinnati is the number one team that should be going after this guy. Give him the bank. Him, Clowney, and Jones. You sign the three of these guys. Go after Chris Harris Jr. too. Go after all four of these dudes in free agents. Sign them all. Bring them on. Pay them the bag. And then have your defense actually stop something.
Good job, man. Good job.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
Appreciate
it. So next risk pick I got is Phillip Rivers. I think he's going to be like a short-term starter somewhere, like where he's in
a transition guy.
Yeah, transition guy, short-term, help out the team for a couple games, like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think his age could be a risk. It could not. Who knows? It could be when I say age is a risk. It's a risk for teams to take a bigger chance on him than he would already get.
Phillip Rivers isn't a finisher. He's not the guy who's going to get you to the ship. He's not going to win the ship. So you bring him onto a team like Miami to help build up your player. You bring him to a team like Cincinnati to help develop your player.
He'll just be a player development guy. That's it.
Or,
there's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that at all. Lot of respect for that position.
And then next up I have is a healthy AJ Green. Like, it's a risk because
he can get hurt again.
But I think if he's healthy, he could be a strong value to teams in the NFL.
And there's something to say about the value of wisdom, man.
Yeah.
The wisdom that he could bring.
And honestly, I think his time in Cincinnati, that era is up.
Yeah.
And I would love to see him somewhere else because I always thought of like AJ Green as a top receiver, even though in some years he didn't put up top receiver numbers, but he always competed for the worst team. So you always kind of almost like felt bad for him because he was like stuck over there.
Yeah,
he still used to be like an exciting player. So I think
kind of like Calvin Johnson.
No like a Calvin Johnson.
He was never going to get a ship.
Exactly. So I think if you bring AJ Green like somewhere else, I think that excitement will come back for him as a football player, and I think he can do extremely well somewhere when that excitement comes back for him
100%.
as a football player. But if you send him back to Cincinnati,
it's nothing. And I mean, unless they build an incredible team,
at that point I would just retire, bro.
Yeah, me too.
It's just gonna be retired.
I'd say trade me or retire.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about some of these combine prospects.
My favorite.
We got just over 10 minutes, so we can't dig too deep into it. But my number one guy on this is Tua Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. I think that this dude has an opportunity. I don't think he'll be performing in the combine because of his injury. But they said he'll be ready for off-season workouts. Yep. They said he'll be ready by March, but I don't think he's going to be ready to perform for the combine. But I think he has an opportunity to snake into that number one spot over Burrows. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But I think I watched his highlights.
It won't. You can watch all the highlights in the world that you want, but it won't happen due to the simple fact is Burrows proved himself this year.
Yeah.
Won
the big game.
What a lot of people don't realize about Tua was when he was in college, that won the big games, he didn't. You know what I'm saying? He lost versus Clemson. The game versus, I want to say it was Ohio State 2 years ago when they had the other quarterback that Tua took his spot, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
Before he transferred to Oklahoma, he won that playoff game and got him to the ship.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like in those situations, I honestly think I'm gonna call it the Craig rule. Tua needs the Craig rule. I don't think he can go anywhere and start right away. I think he needs to be benched for a season or two, develop that, because he could get bigger, stronger, faster, and be better in the NFL. But would I put him right away as a quarterback starting? No, not at
Development,
all. Not at all. So for me, I did no particular order though. Justin Herbert, the quarterback from Oregon, he's going to be a top quarterback to get picked in the draft. I think this is like for the top three quarterbacks between him, Tua, and Joe Burrow. Like it could go boom, boom, boom. It could get in a hat and shake it, any one of those guys can go. So it's just going to be interesting to see who's going to go where in that quarterback position and to what teams. Because
I like Herbert, though.
Yeah, and depending on what teams these guys go to, depending on what I feel like they would do.
Yeah. The thing I like about Herbert, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Josh Allen.
Yes.
You know, he can come
Slinger.
in. He can sling the ball, but he got legs.
Mobile.
He can really get out there and move. He can throw the long bomb. Strong kid. He got that stiff arm. I like him a lot. I think he goes high up in the draft. Maybe to the Chargers.
That'd be nice for him.
Yep. I have Chase Young, the guy who's going, who would go number one overall if Cincinnati wasn't the number one overall pick. Chase Young is the best player in the draft. Ohio State defensive end, unstoppable.
Yeah.
I mean, they're comparing him to Von Miller.
I know, and Von's my guy.
Yeah.
So, and it's tough because you got to think about it like this, right? He's a guy who played with that B guy, you know, the guy in San Fran.
Oh, yeah.
Him.
Okay.
Guy, the guy that we don't like.
Yeah,
we can go back to saying the guy that we don't like.
The guy we don't
like.
like.
That guy. Yeah, him. He played with him. So it's kind of like, is he going to come with that same intensity that this guy did this year that we saw from that guy from Ohio State? Interesting to see.
I think he's going to be better. From what I saw,
I pray he does.
I think he could be.
But you got to understand, he got big shoes to fill because that guy got defense of rookie of the year.
Defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah,
I think we're looking at the next defensive rookie of the year.
And I wouldn't be mad at it.
Me
but
neither.
Just have comparable or better stats.
Yes.
That's all.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My next guy, he's a sleeper, and not a lot of people talk about him. But his name is Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin. He's a running back. He put up 6,000 yards in his career. And he's 219, so he got good size to him.
He's
good speed,
so fast,
4.3 speed. You get what I'm saying? So,
and he knows how. Like the thing I like about, I was watching his highlights. The thing I like about him, man, is he gets to that hole quick.
You know where I like to see him?
Arizona.
Like yes, sir.
Oh, you know what? I don't hate that.
Get rid of Johnson. Get rid of his 17 mil. Sign him to a rookie contract. Boom. So,
are they gonna sign Drake though?
But even if you sign Drake, long as you get rid of Johnson, that's a big bag that you're getting rid of. That you can sign someone,
and you can
because
you
could be able to pay
peanuts.
Exactly, you could pay him minimum dollar, Drake, and then you can sign this guy to a rookie contract.
Yep.
Boom, boom. You know,
I don't hate it
because I don't want to see him go. I think he can go somewhere and be a starter. He's NFL ready now.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see him go somewhere and be a backup or shit of football.
I don't think he's going anywhere to be a backup.
But you never know. You know how they do. People.
And you know what? Miami got 2 picks in the first round.
Yeah.
They could go after him because they don't have a running back.
Yeah.
Henry Ruggs the third, Alabama wide receiver. This dude is so fast,
wheels
man.
on wheels on wheels.
He's talking about he's gonna beat John Ross's combine. What is it, the 100-yard dash or 50-yard dash? 40. Yeah, the 40.
He ran a 4.2.
Yeah, so he's saying he's gonna beat John Ross's record. You know, and the thing is, for a guy with speed too, he's got good hands.
Yeah, but he's a world class runner. He runs like a 4.25.
Damn,
like world class speed.
Yeah. You know, the only problem I have with those type of guys though is like they're like a 2-trick pony. Either they're flying down the field or they're returning kicks and punts. You know, like it's 2 tricks: down the field or kick and punt. And if you drop a safety on him, can he get open in the NFL? I don't know. John Ross, once he was healthy, he was really good last year until he got hurt again. He was actually doing really good last year. So I kind of see a John Ross and Henry Ruggs. So let's hope that he can be a better version.
Got you. I know we have a lot of the same players, so that's why I'm trying to
pick and choose.
Yeah. Next up, I'm gonna butcher his name, is Neville Gilmore. Oklahoma.
Sounds good.
Oklahoma defensive tackle, 6'2", 302 pounds. I like this guy. Anybody who's coming in 6'2", 302 pounds, running a 4.5, 4.6.
Wow.
I want to see what you can do. So
hell yeah.
Yep.
A lot of teams could use that guy. Next on the list for me is TCU wide receiver Jalen Reagor. This dude is he's like reminding me of Tyreek Hill. just zooming down the field, getting open.
He's another 4.2 speed guy.
Yeah, and he's got excellent field vision.
Yeah.
When he's returning kicks and punts, like he just sees the lane and he hits it. You know, he might not be scoring a touchdown, but he'll get you to the 50.
Yeah, he will.
So I like this dude a lot. I think that might be the only thing that he might be like, you know, a Tavon Austin, Tyler Lockett, you know, return punt guy. But, you know, those guys sometimes make big plays in big games.
My next guy, like, it's bad because I could see him as a Patriot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Is Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. He's 6'4", 230. He's a linebacker, but he's more like a hybrid guy where you can use him. You could put him in the box. He can line up in the box. He can line up at linebacker. He can line up at safety.
Yep.
He can cover guys in the slot. He's not scared to be physical with you. So a guy like that, that's like the Bill way, and Bill loves those type of guys.
Yep.
And I can see him being a Patriot depending on where he fall, but I think he'll fall higher up, so they might not get him, but it's interesting to see where he's going to go because he's going to make a difference on whatever.
And the Patriots are going to need a linebacker because we're not going to be able to sign Jamie Collins and Kyle Van Noy this year, you know, and Dante Hightower. Most likely Dante Hightower goes and Kyle Van Noy stays and Jamie Collins is in the air. So we'll see what happens there. Next on the list for me is C.D. Lamb, wide receiver out of Oklahoma. And this dude is a finisher. You know how we talk about like Julio Jones? Yeah, he makes those big plays, but he doesn't finish to the end zone. No. C.D. Lamb, he makes moves to the end zone. He goes for the contested passes. He's super elusive and he gets separation.
Let me tell you who he's going to be like. In the NFL?
Tell me.
You heard it from me first.
Okay.
C.D. Lamb is going to be a mixture of Tyreek Hill and Hollywood Brown. He's going to be a mixture between them because he got the size. He's 6'2", so he's not like a smaller guy, but he's not a bigger guy.
Exactly.
But he has that same speed and that same elusiveness, so it's like you said, you close your eyes, you open them, he's going to be by you 2-3 steps.
Yep.
So
don't blink.
And like you said, he finishes plays. He finishes you off. He uses stiff arm, said juke you, he do whatever. So CD, I've been watching him for the last couple of years. Like he got it.
Yeah.
He's going to be
he ready
nice
to go.
in the NFL. Yeah. For me, I got a big boy, Derek Brown from Auburn. 6'5", 318, solid. Wow. He runs like a 4.62. He's a big guy. I think he was number 5. He even had a low digit number, so you knew he was about that life. So that says enough about him. Defensive lineman with a low digit number, you already know. Anytime you see a defensive lineman with a low digit number, he's about that life.
Wow. All right, and then at the running back position again, DeAndre Swift out of Georgia, who is a big 5'9". Like he walking out there 5'9", walking around looking like he's 6 foot tall. He's hard to tackle, hard to catch. He's fast, he has hands, and he makes plays. I like this dude. He might be, between him and Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift could be the better of the two backs, but end up going later in the draft. You know, like Alvin Kamara.
Ooh,
Alvin Kamara, top 5 running back, but he went in the 3rd round.
It's tough to say that because, you know,
you never know.
This guy played in the SEC, so I can't take that away from him. But for a guy to put up 6,000 yards, like that's like a Bo Jackson, like Barry Sanders type, like one of the. You get what I'm saying?
I feel you.
So it's tough, and I know the divisions is 2 completely different divisions, competition. I get that, but still, for you just to go out there and do it, it's still tough. So I'm interested, like you say, this is not fun. I like honestly, like because I'm not even gonna say another player because we got like another minute left, but. After last year's draft, because like I told you last year, like I never really watched the NFL draft. Like I just know players and follow them.
Exactly.
And then I just look the next day or two and see when they got drafted, and that's that. But to actually like dip into it and then actually have draft picks and be able to, in the 1st round, be able to name 20, 25 out of, 32 teams, like that was amazing. So that's why I'm so interested in, like, this is like, one of my favorite parts of the year is this draft.
Exactly.
And now we got longer time to introduce it because last time we had like 2 weeks. We had
to jump right into it. I think we had already missed the combine and everything.
Yeah.
It was 2 weeks before, week or two before the draft, and we did well.
Yeah, so it was interesting to see what this year's going to bring on that.
Exactly. So we gave you some guys to watch out for when you're watching the draft, and we will, once time comes, as always, we'll be going over the draft. We'll be talking about it in depth, and we'll be giving our first, maybe even second round picks, depending on how it goes. But until next week, as always, we'll see you in the end zone. Have a good night.